Mike yourself. I'm the Labour Party parliamentary candidate for South of Basildon and East Surrey. But first of all, I'd just like to say this is not an appropriate development, and it's not going to be any very special circumstances, in my opinion, why this development should go ahead. I do oppose this Dunton Garden suburb, but I do, at the end of the day, want to make sure that this development does not go ahead for all the reasons that were pointed out in the video. Thank you.
My name is Jeff Williams. I've been a Basildon councillor for 30 plus years. We don't need it here. We have enough development, and I shall continue to oppose it.
Thank you, Jeff. But Dunton, as a narrow single issue, I'm completely opposed to, and we have to keep that fight going. And if UKIP takes control of Basildon on the 7th of May, Dunton is dead. Thank you.
I'm Linda Hodge. I am the UKIP group leader of Basildon Borough Council.
Do you support us or do you not support us?
Of course I support you.
Oh, thank you.
Well, I'm Councillor Kerry Smith. I represent south of the railway line, Langton in Hills and Nethermain on the county and Nethermain on the borough ward. And I don't want to be rude, Mr Chairman, but I think it's disgusting we haven't had an apology from Brentwood. Basildon's been told to build over 3 times that amount of housing, right? We have the largest number of traveller sites in Essex. We've had the Dale Farm debacle and they want to stick all their housing on our doorstep. Another traveller site. Sorry, that is taking the biscuit. The answer should be no, no, no. So we must club together and oppose this debacle. It's disgusting. We must not have this on our doorstep. If Brentwood's got to build, as was said by another speaker, Crossrail. Duh! Why not build Brentwood's allocation of houses nearer the Crossrail line?
My name is Julie Hyde. I'm a Conservative councillor for Langdon Park, and obviously Dunton is within my constituency. I do not support this proposal in any way, shape or form, and I would urge everybody here this evening to take part in the online consultation.
If we don't defeat this, we are going to see concrete from London to Southend. And I don't think any of us want to see that. And if we are to defeat this, then we need each and every one of you to put in as much and as strong an objection as you possibly can. There is a significant lot, but help us, because with your help, I think we can probably get this defeated. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm Roger Hurst. I am the Brentwood Borough Councillor and I'm the Essex County Councillor for Brentwood Hutton, which is the division which includes the Brentwood side of this development. The more you look at it in detail, the more I come to the conclusion that actually the Green Belt was a very good idea. The Green Belt still is a very good idea. We need to keep it. I think most of us live in this sort of area because we like the suburban living that we have and the vast amounts of green countryside that are around it, and that's fantastic. We therefore need to find some sort of way of preserving it and actually seeing off the pressure from what's called objectively assessed need to develop more housing in the Greenbelt areas of the southeast. And let's just bear in mind, anywhere which is in the borough of Brentwood, which is not already brownfield curtilage, urban curtilage, is Greenbelt. There isn't a single piece of undeveloped greenfield site. It's not there. So, do we want to develop on the Greenbelt or don't we? And I come increasingly down to think that actually I can't find anybody who does. I certainly don't. The question is, can we find a way of seeing it off? Well, all the advice that I've had, and I've been a Brentwood Borough Councillor for a few years, we were in control before the current coalition took over, we had the same advice that they had. No, you have to do it. You have to do it. There's going to have to be development on the Green Belt. Well, there's got to be some way of showing to the planning inspectorate that there is no very special circumstance. I can't speak for Basildon. I don't know Basildon well enough, but certainly Brentwood, and I can't imagine Basildon as that different. Certainly Brentwood there is no very special circumstance which means we need to rip up our greenbelt. And therefore, we need to actually fight back very robustly. Encouraged to hear that there have been a couple of recent court cases where the High Court has upheld the interest of the greenbelt over development proposals which were put forward as very special need because of housing need. Given that that's recently happened, I think we probably have a slightly better hand to play than we had before. And I certainly will be putting in my own objection to the Garden Suburb the way it is at the moment. I know Tony and Colin at the back are going to be thinking he's changing his mind because the danger is, and I recognise the danger, that if we see, can I just finish off?
Yep, sure.
The danger is that if we don't support this, then it goes back to Plan A, which was an impossible amount of development round and about the village of West Thorndon, which we know we don't want to see. So, how high risk a strategy is it to try and see off the overall development on the greenbelt at all? It's obviously a high risk, but actually I think it's worth the play. So let's get those objections in. Thank you.
Well, good afternoon or good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Rodney Bass. I don't come from around here. I'm a member of the Cabinet of Essex County Council, but I would like to express the views on behalf of the Cabinet of Essex County Council to this proposal. And we do know that the A127 is blocked every morning from Dunton to the M25. It stands to reason, therefore, that if you build 6,000 houses near the A127, you will simply grind it to a complete halt. So on those infrastructural terms alone, it's a non-runner. And there are issues related to schools. There is insufficient schools capacity for this number of houses. Certainly in the primary school area, there will be new primary schools required. It's not actually shown in detail, and the assessments have not been made. And actually, there's some very significant drainage and surface water alleviation systems that are required in any event in this particular area. But finally, in addition to those three normal things, there is this encroachment of the greenbelt. Now, as a county council, I have to say, I'm a bit ambivalent, a bit like my colleague Roger Hurst on this. We do have to consider whether the greenbelt ought to be breached in some situations, because otherwise we just could not do anything. As a country, I'm talking about. But I want to just say this about, and it is something slightly different to what the film drew out, which was very good. But I want to say this particular encroachment on the greenbelt would, in our view, be fundamentally wrong, because it would lead to a coalescence of the main settlements. It would begin to lead to a coalescence of Basildon with Brentwood and with Thurrock. And we note that as a unitary authority, Thurrock has carried out an assessment of the greenbelt and does, as far as I'm aware, object strongly to this particular proposal. Thurrock is a Labour-controlled authority. I'm unashamedly a Conservative in a strongly Conservative-controlled county council. Essex County Council and Thurrock Unitary Council agree.
Thank you very much. Good evening, everyone. I'm Stephen Metcalfe. I'm the Member of Parliament for South Basildon and East Thurrock. So I'm actually out of patch tonight. This isn't in my constituency, and nor is the proposed development. But there is no doubt that this proposal will have a huge impact on my constituents, both in Langdon Hills, in the Basildon part of my constituency, but also those in Thurrock who use the A128. Let's cut to the chase. Let me make it quite clear, straight off the bat, I oppose this development. No ifs, no buts. I think it is the wrong thing in the wrong place. But let's just be clear. This is the wrong development. It cannot possibly go ahead. And I'm confident that when those who will determine whether or not to take this to the next step, and just remember, this is a planning consultation, it's not a planning application. When the councillors on Brentwood and on Basildon look at this, hear the views that you will have all expressed so clearly through the consultation, I think that they will decide they too have made the wrong decision. And it will disappear. It will be put to one side as something that was an interesting exercise. And my final few words on this is, the sooner they do that, the better, as far as I am concerned. This proposal has created a degree of blight upon the site around those houses that are already there in Dunton Village and will be affected by it. So the sooner, my message to those who will do it on Brentwood and Basildon, please get on with this once the consultation closes on Monday and come to the right decision. And my final point is to everyone on this panel and everyone out there, do not politicise this issue. If we politicise it, party lines will be drawn, battle lines will be set up, and we will start fighting amongst ourselves as opposed to fighting the proposal. And what we really want to do is fight this proposal and put it where it rightly belongs, bang in the bin. That's what we've got to do. If we start trying to argue the politics of it, we'll get distracted and we'll lose sight of our real goal. I hope that's clear that I oppose this, and that if we all work together, the right outcome will be delivered for all of us, in my view. Thank you very much.